right, we are live. Mr. Field, are you ready?
Good morning. Yes.
Good morning. Here we are on Facebook Live, as promised, for our Brad Field Weather Podcast. And we are recording the podcast on Facebook Live. Getting a lot of feedback, though. That's going to be tough. But anyway, we want to begin, Brad, by thanking our underwriters, and that would be McAllen Construction Company and Action Carpet and Floor Covering.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you to Mike and Christine down in McAllen Construction, and thank you to Kevin and Stephen Blake at Action Carpet.
So, that said, we want to get into our podcast, and we certainly welcome input from those who are watching us on Facebook. Brad, I think we ought to delve into something that I know we've talked about on the last two podcasts, and I guess you got some pushback on social media. What's going on with the polar vortex?
Oh, Dan, you know, it's part and parcel of being a meteorologist to get pushback, period. It doesn't matter if it's over social media. It can be in the grocery store. But you know what the best thing about COVID has been for me? The fact that I can put on my baseball cap, I can wear a mask, and when I have either my glasses on or if it's a sunny day and I come in with my sunglasses, not a soul knows me. And I love it. I love the life of anonymity.
I hear you. So what is going on with the polar vortex?
Oh, you wanted me to answer the question, actually. All right, Dan, we've got, I know it's getting old and people have written me offline and, very, very friendly. People have been very friendly. You know what I've noticed since I've retired from television? I think people are kind of treating me like the golden goose. You know, that I went through 34, 35 years of abuse. You know, I was the chief meteorologist. So you know what that meant, Dan? I would share the glory, but I would take all the blame.
Right.
So, but I think people are saying, hey, this guy put up with it for 35 years. Let's cut him some slack. So that's what I mean about sort of being the golden goose. But anyway, what we do have is an extensive area of Arctic air now, Dan, not polar, Arctic, and it's moved across the eastern 2/3 of Canada. So it's there. It's poised. We are at where I am in West Granby, just a shade under 42 degrees north latitude. The cold air is more above, say, 45 degrees latitude right now. So what we need is a storm to come along and pull that cold air down. Now, we've got a couple of opportunities. We've got a lot of Arctic air flooding the eastern 2/3 of Canada. Plus, we've got a very strong subtropical jet. And what I mean by that is if anybody, looks at satellite photographs or something of the northern hemisphere, you can see that signature kind of coming out of the Pacific and on a southwest to northeast track right across Baja, California. You can see the path of the strong subtropical jet. So if you get the subtropical jet, and you combine it with nearby Arctic air, those are the ingredients for the potential storminess to occur. Now, as we look at things, kind of skipping ahead here, but as we look at things in the January 25th through 27th timeframe, so I'm looking at my calendar, that would be Monday through Wednesday of next week. So here we are on Thursday of this week. So Monday through Wednesday of next week, so that would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, day 4, day 5, day 6. In that time frame there will be a storm that will be threatening. Now, the European computer model brings snow into Connecticut, at least the 0Z model from last night. And you know I like the European, and you know when push comes to shove, I tend to go with that model. But the European does have a hit, not a big hit. It does not look like a big storm. And here's the reason. The storm will either hit us with some snow on Tuesday of next week. So that would be the 26th, Tuesday the 26th. Or it will go out to sea and miss us. Now, the little battle going on with the models right now, the GFS takes it out to sea. The GFS gives Virginia 6 inches of snow on Monday and Tuesday of next week, but misses Connecticut, brings it out to sea to our south. The Canadian computer model is projecting a major storm, blockbuster type storm. But for the fish in the Atlantic, it just misses us. The European has a weaker solution. It has a primary coming up through Pennsylvania and a secondary and sort of some weird kind of inverted trough coming through Connecticut. And, you know, I added it up hour by hour from late Monday night through Tuesday into Tuesday evening, and it converted to about 2 to 5 inches of snow in Connecticut. So that's not the big one, but it could give you the feeling that winter is getting going. Now, you will get the feeling that winter is getting going this weekend because of how it's going to feel, not because of how it's going to look. There won't be snow on the ground this weekend, but because of how it's going to feel. It is going to be windy. It is going to be Arctic cold coming in for the weekend. All right. So the Arctic air is nearby and or over us. There is some suggestion, and somehow, Dan, just so you know, I lost you. I have a picture of me, but I
did that on purpose.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hear what you've got to say about this happening.
Okay. Now, next Saturday and Sunday, not this Saturday and Sunday, next Saturday and Sunday, which happens to be January 30th and January 31st, we've got a big storm coming out of the Carolinas. That's according to the European model. But the GFS computer model, this would be the 6Z run from this morning. So if folks want to look at it, you know, I know there are a lot of at home type quote meteorologists running around. So if you want to look at the computer model from the GFS, look at hour 270, around hour 270. Very exciting. So the GFS has a classic nor'easter hitting us next weekend. So that would be Saturday, January 30th, and Sunday, January 31st. And you know, like the TV station I used to work at, NBC, they have a 10-day forecast. Channel 8 has an 8-day forecast. You're going to start to see showing up at the very end of the forecast period now, I think some hints of some significant storminess coming in next weekend. And that storminess would be in the form of snow because we will have the Arctic air either over us or nearby. So just a little bit of a teaser. The ingredients are there, Dan. A broad, extensive area of Arctic air now over the eastern 2/3 of Canada. Combine that with an active and strong subtropical jet stream. And you'll know what I mean if you look at the satellite photographs, the satellite imagery out over the Pacific, and see what's coming into the northern hemisphere. Specifically right now, the entry point seems just south of California. So it's more like Baja California. But just, take a look at that. And when storminess meets up with Arctic cold, that's where we get our snowstorms.
Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. because you said we're gaining Arctic air, but we're not getting the polar vortex. What's the difference?
Well, the coldest of the cold is what I think the colloquialism polar vortex. The coldest of the cold, and I've seen the models kind of flip-flopping on this. Now, what I'm talking about the models is, for example, the Canadian computer model goes out I believe it's 768 hours. Now, you know what that takes us to, Dan? The third week of February. So, I mean, these are long range models. Now, when I was looking at them, it was, this is Thursday. It was either yesterday or Tuesday. There were several days where Bradley had morning lows sub-zero. Today, they don't seem to be there. Today, the morning lows are maybe 5 or 9 or 2 or something like that. But so the quote, the severity of the cold is going to come into question a little bit. Now, here's a little something for you. The first 20 days of January 2021, we have only had one day where the temperature has been below normal cold. So if we are looking at going into below normal cold this weekend, and then into the future as far as we can see, it may not be the severest of cold, but compared to what we've had, it's going to seem really cold. And let me just give you an example. I think it's the last 5 days of climatology. So that would be the 16th of January, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. So those 5 days, the maximum high at Bradley has been in the 40s every single day. Today, I don't think it'll be in the 40s. I think it'll hold in the 30s today. There may be a 40 showing up tomorrow, but that will be just before the reinforcing Arctic front comes through. Over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, despite bright and brilliant sunshine, despite the fact that there are just a few snow piles here and there, but there's really no snow cover in Connecticut, it's still going to be really cold with temperatures only in the 20s both days and a whole lot of wind. So we're going to be unveiling the wind chill terminology this weekend as well. So we're looking at definitely a kind of a shock to the system compared to what we've had. So over the weekend, we set the stage with below normal cold air. Now, the severity of the below normal cold air, I'm not going to say, but if the daily high this time of year happens to be 34, and we're below that every day, and the daily low happens to be 17, and we're below that every day, and we add in a whole lot of wind, it's going to feel like winter. So I would say starting this Saturday, you're really going to have the feel of winter. Now, I know a lot of people don't really like the cold. They like the snow. And they're saying, all right, Brad, we got the feel of winter. When are we going to have the look of winter? Again, the days to watch are next Tuesday, January 26th, where the GFS model and the Canadian model have misses out to sea. But the European model has us with this inverted trough swinging through, giving us maybe 2 to 5 inches of snow. So that would be Tuesday and Tuesday night. Then we get cold again, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, we start clouding up, setting the stage for next weekend's storm. And both models now, the European and the GFS, are on board with a fairly significant storm next weekend. So that's why I'm telling you, Channel 8 tonight will probably have on their Friday forecast next week, a big cloud coming in, and NBC Connecticut on their 10-day forecast we'll probably have some snow starting to show up at the end of the 10-day forecast. So that's what we're looking at. This whole idea of doing a podcast is it's kind of foreign to me, because I always said your best predictions are within 2 or 3 days of an event. And here I'm trying to look out for at least 7 or 8 days. And the reason that we're doing that is clear. Dan is semi-retired and I am semi-retired. So doing this broadcast once a week is fine with me. Obviously we do what Dan and I call storm specific forecasts. So if, for example, on Tuesday, it appears that European model is going to be right, and we're going to have several inches of snow coming in on Tuesday, Dan and I will be on Monday. So just go to bradfieldweather.com. But I mean, because it's going to be sunny on Saturday and sunny on Sunday, Dan and I are not coming on with a special podcast to tell you it's sunny.
We're tired.
Do you agree, Dan?
Absolutely.
And then I think you'll be seeing our handsome faces coming up toward the end of next week as we try to prepare you for next weekend's potential snowstorm.
People might ask, why is it that the models are not in agreement for the 26th, but seem to be in agreement with January 30th and 31st?
That's an excellent question, Dan. The models are run every 6 hours now. It used to be every 12, but now the models run every 6 hours. And a lot of it has to do with the information that's input into the models, and then the equations in the models work on that data. Now, I was reading a very good global analysis from a gentleman named Larry Cosgrove. If you Google his name, you will see he does long-range weather predictions for basically the whole northern hemisphere, I think. So, Larry had a very good article this morning, basically stating that he thinks that the models right now are underplaying the storminess coming in from the Pacific. So if the storminess coming in from the Pacific is stronger than it's indicated in the initial data, you will have much more amplified ridges and much more amplified troughs, which means that the storms will strengthen much more than they're predicted to do. So the first one, it could very well be that the Arctic air is not in play enough yet, or the models don't see it, whereas by next weekend, they fully see it. When temperature contrasts are great, and we've talked about this before, when, say, some 0-degree air is near or over New England, and then relatively nearby the Gulf Stream has 70-degree water flowing through it, you have a very intense thermal gradient over a relatively short distance. And that's how these storms really intensify. So you will see the storm being bigger and stronger the more Arctic air is in play. And so I think, sort of as we've been hinting at for the last 2 to maybe 3 weeks, we're starting to see signs of this coming together a little bit. So if I were a snow lover, I would say my target for excitement would be that January 30th through February 1st timeframe, the 30th, the 31st, the 1st, right in there. That would be my number one. Number two would be to back up and say, well, maybe next Tuesday we can finally feel like winter's getting going. If the European is correct and this inverted trough comes through where winds oppose each other, you get upward motion in the atmosphere, and then you get precipitation. So if this all happens next Tuesday, we could put down a few inches of snow as well.
Okay, you talked about this trough. And is it at play when I look at the weather map and I see temperatures in Juneau, Alaska, and Anchorage, Alaska, in the low 40s to mid 30s?
That's warm for them. That's warm for them. But we like that, though. We snow lovers in Connecticut like that, because when you pump up the ridge, the warm ridge, and it pumps up the western side of the United States and on up into the Canada Rockies and Western Canada, that induces the cold air near the North Pole to start moving across central and eastern Canada. And that's already happened. The cold air is there. So the cold air is nearby. And, we've discussed this before too, Dan, that the idea that snow begets snow. And the reason I say that is you start to put down some deep snow across eastern Canada and northern New England, you get more reflection. The albedo of anything white is such that it reflects the sunlight. So we get our coldest nights when we have clear sky, we have no wind, and we have deep snow cover. That induces radiational cooling. So if you looked at an air mass and said, that air mass is worth a low temperature reading of 10 tonight, put a foot of snow on the ground, you might say that air mass is worth a low temperature of 5 below tonight. It makes that big of a difference. So then by getting that cold, stuff starts to freeze. The rivers start to freeze. Lake Champlain starts to freeze. The Great Lakes start to freeze over. So the whole pattern kind of amplifies itself. I don't know if I made that clear, but
well, I mean, is it fair to say it's like putting the atmosphere in a cooler?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. The snow is the refrigerant. Yes.
Right. So, well, that explains that in a way. Now let's look on the weather map. I mean, I guess with some systems at play now, we're getting some snow flurries in northwestern Connecticut.
Right.
Before 1 or 2 warm into warm front. Is that correct?
That's correct. As a matter of fact, Dan, a warm front is moving through. That's the reason for the snow flurry and snow shower activity across the state. And as you indicate, radar shows it's primarily in northwestern Connecticut. So that's with a weak warm front moving across New England. And remember, I said tomorrow could be up around 40. That's because we are awaiting the secondary cold front. We will have a cold front sweep across overnight tonight. So we'll be in the 30s this afternoon with a random flurry or snow shower due to that warm front. Then we'll have a cool front come through overnight. But the main cold front will come through during the day tomorrow, probably later in the day tomorrow. So ahead of that secondary cold front, we could get up to around 40. But then once that cold front comes through, we're looking at 20s with a whole lot of wind for both Saturday and Sunday. And you asked about on the weather map by Saturday, the secondary cold front is off the New England coast. We've got cold high pressure from Hudson Bay, ridging down through the Great Lakes and into the Ohio Valley, and a brisk northerly wind here. So we've got the sun out, we've got clear blue sky, we've got Arctic air, and we'll have temperatures in the 20s, but we will have a strong wind chill both on Saturday and on Sunday. Sunday will be a good day to stay in and watch football.
I agree.
No matter what the weather, it's a good day to stay in and watch football.
Correct. So before we put a wrap on things with the immediate forecast, just as a recap, the dates we really need to be looking at: January 26th, is next Tuesday, and then
and then the weekend of January 30th, 31st
into
Monday,
Monday,
February 1st.
That is correct, Dan. That is correct. And I want to tell you this. My wife works at the Granby Middle School, and I coach. I'm going to be one of the assistant varsity baseball coaches at Granby High School. So we know a lot of the teachers. And I want to let you in on something I know you know, and I don't think a lot of people out there have really thought about this. The teachers and the administration wants the days off just as badly as the kids. That is a fact. They're always calling me, Brad. You think we'll have a delay tomorrow? You know, the poor teachers, they have to get up at 5 a.m. When they get a delay, it's like heaven on earth. They don't have to get up till 7 or 7:30. They get to sleep an extra 2 hours. So yeah, it's next Tuesday, Dan, and then the next weekend, which is specifically January 30th and 31st.
Listen, I don't want to put a damper on things for the teachers and administrators, but there's now a thing called remote learning.
I know.
To render these snow days useless.
Well, our superintendent's name is Jordan Grossman, and what a good guy. He's a really good guy, and he occasionally calls me to get my take on what will happen and whatever. And as a matter of fact, he called me Tuesday night for Wednesday morning, for yesterday morning, because he was hearing something like up to an inch or whatever. I said I doubt it. I said, I think there might be some localized coatings type of thing. So, but he gave the staff and the kids that day off before Christmas. It was like the week before Christmas. And I was watching the schools going by on the no schools on the local stations. And it said remote learning. It said Granby schools closed. and they loved it. He said, let the kids go out and play in the snow and have some fun.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Well, then to put a wrap on things, and first of all, like you mentioned, if this thing changes as far as Storm Tuesday, and then obviously the following weekend, we will do special podcasts in order to update our audience.
Correct? Absolutely correct, Dan. And I want to just try to drive our viewers today to bradfieldweather.com because my friend Lisa Brower said, hey, Brad, it's nice that you put the daily forecast on there. But she said, when I'm at a ball game or something, or out on the golf course, it'd be nice to see the radar. So you put the radar on. And then we've had a few storms where the wind's been such that it's knocked down some tree limbs and power lines, and you can get lightning strikes and whatever. So Dan put on the link to Eversource and the link to United Illuminating. So what we are endeavoring to do is make bradfieldweather.com kind of your one-stop shopping. You're not going to hear from me much on a sunny day. To be very honest with you, they're a dime a dozen. I mean, I love them. I'm like anybody else. In the summertime, give me a sunny day. But I'll tell you what, as a TV meteorologist, that has to be on at 4, 4:30, 5, 5:30, 6, and then 11 o'clock at night. You try talking about sunny, warm, and dry for 14 days in a row in the summer. You try talking about it. And then the producers will say, don't you have some kind of feature you can do? And it's like, no, not really. You might talk about, the water table's getting low or whatever. But to be a TV meteorologist on those kind of patterns where you have 2 or 3 weeks of nothing, It is way easier to talk about something than it is to talk about nothing. And then you know how all these newscasts now are weather, weather, weather. So you're on at 4:02, then you're on again at 4:07 in case anyone missed it at 4:02. Then you're on at 4:17, and then you wrap it up at 4:29, and then you're on at 4:32. I mean, it's like constant. You're constantly on. And there's nothing to talk about.
I maintain that it's going to get to the point where one of the local stations will say we're signing on at 3:30 in the morning, and another local station will say we're signing on at 3 in the morning. All right, we're signing on at 2:30 in the morning.
That's what they used to do. They used to do these weather wars. You know, when we were in the middle of, say, a bad winter. They would say, well, you know, to start off your morning tomorrow, we're backing up our regular start time of 5 a.m. to 4:30. Then you know what they decided? They found that there were some viewers then at 4:30. So then they made it a regularly scheduled newscast at 4:30 a.m. now. And now they say when a storm's coming, we'll be on early tomorrow at 4 a.m. God help the meteorologists and the news people if they find there's an audience at 4 a.m. Then all of a sudden they'll be on at 4 a.m. every day. So it was a great career, Dan, but I am so glad it's over. Really. I love doing this. I love talking to the people in Connecticut. I love that my hair can be all messed up and I can just put on a cap, and I don't have to worry that someone in human resources doesn't like my suit, or I am happy to be like this.
I am with you, my dear friend, word for word. Absolutely.
Yeah, Dan. While we got maybe a couple of viewers on Facebook, I wanted you to talk a little bit about your sports newsletter, because I just found it so fascinating, and I pointed out to you the one that I really was interested in was, I honest to God thought the Philadelphia Eagles coach Doug Peterson, if I were a Giants fan or I were a Dallas Cowboys fan, I would have been so angry with him.
And I wrote that he should lose his job, and well, we all know what happened. And I think that game was the tipping point. He was on the precipice anyway, but that game was the game that I think the Eagles management looked like and said, you've got to go. After how you coach that game.
For the integrity of the game. Absolutely, for the integrity of the game. And for those people that might be listening or watching that didn't know about it, if Philadelphia won that game, either the Giants or Dallas, and it happened to be the Giants because they had won earlier in the day, would have gone on to represent the NFC East. Well, this Peterson, in the third quarter, there was a chance to kick a little chip shot tying field goal, and he passed it up. He went for it on fourth down. And then in the fourth quarter, he played not his second string, his third string quarterback the whole fourth quarter. It was like he didn't even try to win the game.
Yep. It's just, like you said, the integrity of the game, and it cost him his job, and it may cost him a head coaching job, at least for the next couple of years. But anyway, thanks for the plug. Go to sportscasterdan.com to sign up and send out a sports newsletter 3 mornings a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then I'll send out an occasional podcast. And like I said, you can subscribe by going to sportscasterdan.com. So thank you very much for allowing me to plug that.
Sure, Dan. And I sent you some mail. One of our listeners to our previous podcast wants us to be on his podcast. It's about baseball. And, you are Sportscaster Dan, and I am going to be Granby High School's varsity assistant baseball coach. So we know a lot about baseball.
You bet. We'll follow up on that.
All right. Sounds good.
Now, as a wrap, and again, we're putting this together on January 21st. So what does our immediate forecast look like?
Well, Dan, Still some flurries around. Weak warm front passing through. Temperature in the 30s today. Don't worry about the flurries. They're not going to cause any travel conditions or anything. Overnight, partly cloudy and in the 20s. We've got a cold front coming through overnight. But cold front number 1, it only goes from cool to chilly. Behind cold front number 2, it goes to very cold. Cold front number 2 sweeps across tomorrow. Mix of sun and clouds, 35 to 40. And then 16 to 22 tomorrow night. Now, you might say, that is not very cold, Brad. I mean, it's cold, but it's not real cold. No, it's not. But we're going to have wind with it. And then during Saturday, despite bright sun, the temperature is not going to go up. It's going to be windy and cold on Saturday, low to mid 20s for the high temperature on Saturday. Probably in the single digits, maybe 12 down in Norwalk or something on Saturday night, but with wind. Sunday, sunny, windy, 25 to 30. So again, with the normal high being 34, you can see we're some 4 to 9 degrees below average per day here now. So it's going to feel really cold. Monday, increasing clouds, 30 to 35. Tuesday, chance of snow. Going with the European model. When in doubt, that's what I do. 28 to 34 degrees on Tuesday. Wednesday, sunny, breezy, 26 to 32. And Thursday, sunny, breezy, and cold, 26 to 32.
Okay, and we'll continue to follow up, as you said. Visit bradfieldweather.com. Also, if there's any significant storm on the horizon, we will do a special podcast in addition to our weekly podcast, maybe do more social media as well.
Sounds good. I like it. And you know, we just so that everybody knows, what we do is kind of a work in progress. Dan is the technical guy, and he knows what the heck he's doing. But if you could be a fly on the wall at my house, it's like Comedy Central, me trying to get ready for one of these podcasts. Well, we have great video, but we have no audio. Now we have terrible audio, but we have great video. It just is. Now we have Brad moving his mouth and not hearing a thing. So it's interesting. We're perfecting it as we go.
Correct.
And really, the thing with these Facebook Lives and Instagrams, Dan, when they're live, you can't practice.
No.
So, on you come, and, the chips have to fall where they may.
That's what makes it so genuine. That's why I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
So as a wrap, we always wrap up our podcast, and this will be in podcast form, and it will also be on Facebook if you want to watch it again or listen to it by way of podcast. But anyway, we always like to thank our first responders, those in the front lines during this very difficult time. So big thank you to them, and to you and Sandy, and to our audience. We always thank them, Brad, for their support. It means a lot.
Yeah, thanks to the audience, Dan, and I hope you and Susan have a nice weekend. And I love how you thank the first responders. We think we're coming out of this pandemic, but you see these death tallies every day. I mean, we just can't vaccinate the people fast enough. So just stay safe until the vaccines are widely distributed.
Well said. Thanks, Brad. And
Thank you, Dan.
And our presentation today has been underwritten by McCollin Construction Company, with Action Carpet and floor covering with Simsbury. So we're going to put an end to our broadcast here. And, well, as always, thank you.
Thank you.